Welcome back. This is the last video of the business card designer project. So we're going to continue from where we left it in the last video. We're going to start by setting the text align property. So if you remember, inside the index page, if we look for the text align section, which is just there, we passed in some values, and on click we created a function, or we're going to create a function called text align, and this is going to take in a parameter, and the parameter which we're going to use is the ID of this button, and we set the ID to be the same as the bootstrap class of text left, text center, and text right. So every time the button is clicked, the ID will be changed to one of these three values, and then we can grab this ID and then change it to be a class, and then that will apply the bootstrap styles and align the text accordingly. So I'll show you how to do that now inside the JavaScript file. So let's create a function, and this function was called text align. So I'm going to give the parameter a name of selected underscore ID. So then inside the function, we'll do a document dot get element by ID, and then we want to select the card once again, but then we want to add a class name equal to the selected ID. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. So selected ID will pull in the ID from the button, and then once it's got the ID, such as text right, it will then use the ID and set it as a class name. So effectively it will look like this: class name equals text right, and that is a bootstrap class which will make all the text appear on the right hand side, and the same for text left and text center. So let's save that and check it's working okay. So text line, center, right, and left. So now we need to move on to your name, and your name had a function called print name. So then let's create that now in the custom.js. So new function, print name, and we can do this in the same way as earlier with document.get element by ID. And the ID that we want to grab is in the output section. So we need to grab output name, and then set the inner HTML to be the same as the input section. So input name, and then we need to grab the value and save that. So now in the print name section, let's just add something into there, and you can see as we're typing it's being printed to the business card side. And print job is pretty much exactly the same too. So let's copy the function, this time print job. The output name is output job, and input name change to input job, and then the email and telephone section. So print email, grab the output email, and then input email dot value. But instead of just printing the email, we want the string of email to appear just before it. So just add that in with a colon and a space, and then add on the input that the user has entered inside the form. And then the same for the telephone number. So copy that function. So this function is print telephone. So the element we want to grab is output telephone. The inner HTML is input telephone. And then change email in the string to be tel, and then save that. And then let's refresh the browser, and then we can add some values into the rest of the form and check it's all working. So company 1, and just add some text into these and check it's all working. Change the background color, and that's working. and the text is also changing. The text align, that's all working correctly. So your name, the job title, the email is working correctly, and there's this string that we'll put in front of it of email, and we should get the same for the telephone number. When we add that in there, we'll get the string of tel in front of the number. Okay, great, so that's all working, and there's just one more thing to do, and that is the buttons at the bottom. So I'm going to start with the submit form, and all I'm going to do with the form submit, and all I want to do with the submit button is to create an alert to alert the user if certain values have been left blank, or in other words, we can put in the required fields and then create a function for the clear button to reset all the sections of the form. So let's start with the submit button. So let's create a function called form submit. And this is the function name that we used inside the index page. So if you scroll down to the bottom and then look for the submit button, which is just here, and there's the form submit button, which I've spelled incorrectly. So form submit, and then let's create that now. So we'll do an if statement. So if, and then exclamation mark, which means not. So input name.value. So this is checking if there's not a value inside the input name. Then we need to create an alert to the user of please complete all required sections. Okay, so save that. So now we've put in the input name and we've checked if there's no value. Now if we don't put a name inside the input field and we click submit, we'll get the alert box, which is please complete all required sections. But if we were to put our name inside there and then click submit, we don't get the alert popping up. So I've only used the name section as a required field. You can put as many as you want inside the if statement to test if there's any value or if it's been left blank. But I'm just going to leave it now as the name and then move on to create the form reset. So a new function at the bottom, and we'll call this form reset. And the way I'm going to refresh the page is by selecting the window dot location dot reload, and this will clear all the information inside the business card and also the form by doing a page refresh. So save that and just add some information into the business card and then click on the clear button and that should reload the page. So let's just check for any spelling mistakes. So form reset, and then the index page. So that just needs to be form reset, so save that and that should fix our problem, and refresh. So add some more information into there, and then now hopefully when we click clear, and that clears the form. So that's it, that's the end of this project. I really do hope you managed to get to the end by yourself, or at least complete a section of it. Feel free to customize this as much as you want, but for now, thanks very much, and I hope you've enjoyed the project.